Hey there, friends. Welcome to my channel, Joy to the World. As you can tell, I am in a different environment. I am Melissa Joy, and we're here to have a chit chat. So it's a little different than usual. I had a Zoom meeting call this morning. As you know, my profession is a massage therapist, but after having gone through cancer, it's taken a while to build everything back. And right when I got my strength back, I got smacked down by that vertigo and the other things that happened back in March, leading into the kidney stuff and everything going on with my son. Of course, devastated like any sort of spiritual or energetic power that I was having. That's why I go watch the sunrise and I get out in nature as much as possible, as trying to regain any sort of health in life. But this channel also, it was birthed out of a request from God saying, you start this channel, you read tarot, and I will save your son. And I'm like, okay, irregardless of what was going on with my health and the brain injury and all those other things, I was like, yeah, we'll do anything for our children, right? And it's not just my SON, it's my SUN. When I hit my head over 21 years ago, I'd say that's like when my lights got turned out, right? They say, oh, that rang your bell, that knocked your lights out. Yeah, it did. And so that's why I show up and I listen to these, because I find pieces of myself in there. How? Through you guys. It is a universe. We are all one in essence, right? And then we're the different individuations of it. We're the facets of life. And that's what makes it so fascinating. That's why it's room for all the colors in the crayon box. So this is a spiel about me, which is weird. I was like, I didn't sign up for this. And they're like, yes, you did. You said anything. And I'm like, okay, right. So that stent in my kidney's really been jacking with me. Like, I wake more than I sleep. It's been really difficult. That's why I wear this on my face. You can look back in January and February when those videos were coming out, and I didn't look anything like this. And I can't say I want to go back there, but I want to go forward. So I was coming home last night from work, and Spirit's like, okay, now carry yourself over to the ER. And because there was some bleeding and other things that are symptoms of like not so good things going on with the stent. I'm like, okay, fine. Well, the nurse who did the check-in and the vitals, you go into like this little private closet area that shuts you off from the rest of the waiting room. And she's taking them. And what's interesting is it's real sly now. And it's so different than it was when the husband was still living in the house. Because they asked this question, so here's your address. Will you confirm that? And I'm like, yeah. And they said, so do you feel safe going back there? And I start bawling. And I'm like, I do now. I do now. And this is just so tender, y'all, and so real. And like, why this rawness is supposed to come through with you guys, I don't know. But I love you. And I trust. And it was funny because she's like, I didn't go into it, but she said, you need to tell people what's going on in your life. Those were her exact words. And I'm like, oh my God, that's what Spirit keeps telling me, is to open up and tell y'all these problems or these difficulties or whatever I'm going through while I'm going through it, right? And so here I am, recording and sharing. And she said, you look really familiar. And she said, did you used to have dark hair? And I said, no, red hair. And she said, oh my God, you were my patient. She said, I prayed and interceded for God to save you. Because she was the nurse that received me at that hospital June 14th of 2021. I mean, July 14th of 2021, when I was bleeding to death from the cancer. 13 transfusions, y'all. It was really touch and go. Doctors were like, we're not sure it's cancer yet, but we're just going to start radiation treatment to try and make the bleeding stop so that we could save your life. It was a big deal. So you who show up here and who subscribe, who touch into that, you're touching into resurrection power. Because like my friend Hartford Coates says, Joy, you are a miracle. Because everything has tried to snuff you out. My mom said I was born into death. I would quit breathing all the time as a baby. How many different things have come at me to try and knock my block off? I've had people chase me and try and kill me. It's been crazy, right? And so anyways, I was like, that's the main reason Spirit led me there, because she looked at me and she said, if there's any doubt in you, don't doubt. You can be made whole. And I'm believing for that. And the fact that you were here and I am looking at you. She said, go and tell them what is going on. She didn't know I had a channel. She didn't know any of that. So those were prophetic words coming out of her mouth, and my spirit was hearing them, just like we do when we listen to these videos, right? It's not so much about joy or anything. It's what is Spirit saying to you inside of yourself, right? So, point is, they were like, well, you know, the radiologist didn't say anything. And I saw that the person who took the x-ray showed me what it looked like. It looks like that thing is all tangled up in my bladder, which is where the pain is. And why it's incredibly hard to walk or to sleep or to swallow and breathe sometimes. And so here I am, waiting till the 19th when it comes out. But it was put in because there was deemed to be scar tissue or malfunction on it from the radiation from 2 years ago. But together, I believe we're better. And if you're given to love, prayer, meditation, or just simply connecting with another human soul, send some love my way, because where time does not heal all wounds, I believe love does. Is the power lacking in my body? Because when I keep getting smacked down and then knocked down and whatever, it's like, you're not going to make it, Joy. We're going to snuff you out. And this is it. This is it. This is all there'll be. This is all there'll ever be. And I'm like, okay. And the thing is the messages only come forth when I connect with you guys. It just shows up, or nature connects with me and shows me these things, these words of wisdom that come forth. So it's just that I've been practicing that human connection since I was born. I believe we all have it. And that's why the channel's coming forward, is to remind you of your supernatural self, right? So if you tuned into that I'm Coming Undone video the other day, I brought out my cards so I could show you. I won't go on forever. So if you'd like to, hang in there, and I'm going to show you what was happening. In that meditation, it's not like I went in there to pray for my body or pray for my son. I was just in there because that's the only spot of the house that sunlight can come in for a few minutes. I'm in a really dark environment, and that's very unhappy for me. So I saw that spot of sunlight, and I'm like, let me get this moment of sunlight before I go and do the rest of my work, before I go to my job. You know, because this is something that I'm spending hours doing to develop the channel before I go to my, for now, paying job. And I'm asking God, I'm like, what is it? What is going on in my heart? This pain has me wide open. Can you show me what I am seeing? And what I was seeing is what was happening to my body. This weakness, this like being foiled, this being like dissolved. I don't really have the words. So I said I didn't have my deck around me, but I would show you the picture. Well, here it is. Not this part. This is how my heart feels, but this is what has been going on with my body. Literally. And somehow I get up. Sometimes it's 5 and 10 times a day, and I'm like, please help me get to work, because that's the only way to try and pay my bills, and it's still not enough, y'all. It just smacks me down and smacks me around. So it just looks like this. And this is the 9 of Wands. And that's what whoops, sorry, let me put it over my face because I have it on cinematic. Can you see it? And you were talking about the shedding of the selves, and that's where all of a sudden I saw the whole globe become like this 6 skyscraper, like a sphere of a skyscraper, and all those windows were dark, and out of them came the children. And not just our children, y'all. That was the wild thing about it. Us. As children, those facets of ourself, the dorky, quirky, all those resurrection power things that kids have that overcome the feeling of imprisonment or being trapped in situations that are too daunting, that something else has the domination power, the control, the whatever else, okay? And so there's parts of us would die because we wanted to be accepted by our peers, and not like, accepted, but like, don't kill me, accepted, because people coming after you when you're still standing in your truth or in your natural self, and they've already sold out. Because it begins to convict them, and not because you're saying or doing anything to them, but because they can spiritually see it, right? And as we begin to diminish like that, our connection and our life force, there's a wasp around here, we start to lose that power and that connection. And so as more and more things tried to demand that I pay that price to be accepted or approved or allowed to be in that realm of society, even young people, I was like, step off or step out. I'm like, I'll just step out. I'll just step out. Because I had already lost so much as a tiny child, not having that security of even one parent that was like on my side, you know, that comfort, that love, that peace, that anything. All I had was nature. And I was like, okay, well, I guess that'll be enough. That'll be enough for now. And I had this abiding love for these people, this world of people that I hadn't even met yet. Of this place, like I would call it the Island of Misfits, like in Rudolph. If you like those old animatronic type Christmas shows. And it's that Island of Misfits where we've all been through something, but there's a place of love for everybody. There's a purpose and life's meaning and room for everyone to be who they are right now. And to keep coming into that knowledge of self, that self-discovery and that experience. A soft, gentle, loving place, a fun, excited, creative place, you know? And that was what I had in my heart. And it's funny, so those golden children, it was prayed over and sung over for you guys, that these pieces of yourselves and your souls start coming together. And I didn't know what I was going to say in that video. So when Spirit starts speaking out of my mouth about clicking the buttons and subscribing and sharing and saving the playlist and all that, I was like, oh, I got duped right on screen. What is happening? And I thought, yeah, Joy, who cares? You saw those people, you saw their souls, and how can they know if no one tells them? And how can they know if it doesn't show up? It's not like it just rando shows up in people's feeds. YouTube is like, okay, well, so this person tunes into these other tarot channels, and they seem to like this video, and they're chatting on this video, and they've liked it or something, so maybe I'll send it to somebody else who, say, tunes into Sand Tarot, or I don't know, whoever all those other ones are. Then they start kind of generating a buzz, but they're all in control of that. And it's based on how much attention a certain video grabs, right? And then they start to circulate it out to see what it'll do, because YouTube needs actions in order to feed, in order to share, okay? And I was like, yeah, you're right. Who cares if it's going to reach the people, so that whoever needs it finds their self in that video, finds their spirit, their soul, their connection to their Willy Wonka wonderful world. And I'm talking about the chocolate factory. That's just things on earth that you can create and make of your own imagination. I'm talking about when he Wonka-vates out and he sees this whole new world. And that wasn't an airplane. That was an elevate. Elevate or what? And Charlie got to press the button. Because Willie thought the heart of a child is what leads the way. And what was the boy's name? I don't know, Charlie. But Charlie was like that child of Willie. You know, it doesn't show that Willie has connections or family or anyone else to bequeath it to. He wanted to have his child come back in. And it took the heart of a child of recognizing what they believe is right from wrong. Not just doing what their ancestry is or that fake ancestry. Because that's where a lot of this stuff has been squatting in, trying to say, this is who you are, this is what you come from, this is all you'll ever be. He had both his mother and his father's lineage tied and strapped down in the center of the room, in the center of their universe, in beds, and Charlie and his mother was taking care of them. The father was absent. And this isn't to pick on men, because men have had fatherless homes as well, right? Is like this abject poverty, this disconnect. Okay, and that golden ticket, when all hope was lost because people had faked one, there was one still saved for him. And when you see Slugworth, you realize that there is something greater at work here. He was the one coming along going, if you give me the secret, I'll give you money. Charlie got wealth. He got everything. He got the connection to himself. And so it was that connection of knowing that he was loved and he was going to be shown a world that Willie hadn't even seen yet. That's what our ancestors are truly here for, is to help us rise up above the limitations that he saw of 4 people basically dead in the bed, sitting in the middle of the room in a weight that he got to carry the rest of his life. So much so when the teacher's like, so how many chocolate bars did you buy, Charlie? one? You only bought one? Well, that's not a good number. Where everybody else was throwing everything at it. Everything at it. Everything at it. And all you need is the one, the you. And so what's neat is this is what, when I went to dig through the deck to find out what was going on here, let me put it in the center, right? It was between these two cards. Oh, there we go. I have to really hide my face. Man, I haven't been on the swing since my son went missing in 2021, right around the Cancer time. 9 of Cups. You see that? Look at this. That's like being open in your place, having your outdoor shower, all that pleasure in the wide open of like, and dreaming of more. Dreaming of that 10th cup. Not having to prove to anyone or change for anyone or adapt for anyone or appease anyone, because it's not always to please others. Sometimes it's to appease others, to get them to step off and step back. But there is no more price or sacrifice to be paid. That's it. And it was between this. Look what we got. We got the Ace of Wands right here. Look what's in your hand. The power of your permission. And that's like what that wand is speaking is like no more phoenix, no more having to live off your ashes. You're going to step into your beauty and into your truth. And apparently life is saying, hey friends, just like me, there's no more waiting. You don't have to wait for anyone's approval. You don't have to wait to be what the world calls a success, because if the world looks at me, I'm an abject failure. I'm a loser. I'm a piece of shit. But there's something inside of me that says, So let's go with that, friends. Let's go with that because if you are still alive and somehow you found an ember of hope today and you're still here and you're tuning in, your soul is searching for itself. And that's what we're doing here. It's kind of like a homing pigeon or a homing beacon going beep, 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 beep when I talk. Because like I say, what I mention here, what works for me is not the end all be all word. It's what does your soul hear? What is your spirit speaking to you? What do you begin to reflect on at night? It's just like opening up more channels of possibility where the enemy or the evidence of what your life is or isn't or is proven to you or your ancestry or whatever else is saying, that's limited. This is like opening up the floodgates. That's what next week's readings is about the miracles, the waterfalls. It's all these floodgates of heaven opening to pour forth the blessing to connect to who you are. Not about your perfection is the ongoingness of it working out, of the ahas or the ohs or, wow, I'm sorry I stomped all over you, Spirit. I hear when you were telling me to do that because I didn't want to go to the ER. I'm like, go sit up in there for what? I need to rest, stretch out, lay down. Today was hard. And it's like, well, you'll get on a bed eventually and you don't really sleep anyway, so who cares? I'm like, all right, I'll follow you, Spirit. I'll go there. And that woman was lit up. And she's like, you're alive. You made it. And she's like, I'll pray for you over this too. But she's like, you need to connect with people. So here I am, bags and all, itching these mosquitoes or whatever else is chawing up in me in this hot, humid yard. And I come to you with my difficulties, my challenges, my fresh, raw, in the very now moment, unedited experience. And maybe that's all I am, is a gate and a portal for that power to get you into your now too. And together we'll come out into yours and into mine and into all of ours. And our colors will begin to shine and we'll break through that roof, just like the Wonka Vader. And we'll be tethered to our own soul, to our own self, to our own fingerprint, to our who, not our do. Our who is our root. It is our connection. All right, friend. That's a lot, y'all. Lots of words. Y'all are amazing and powerful for tuning in and connecting. If you stay to the end, you give me like a garden down there, some fruits, some veggies, some flowers, some whatever, and I'll be like, oh, there are people watching this and staying all the way through. Because you believe in me and you believe in you. Hey, I look forward to chatting down there with you. Okay, tickle those buttons. Let's keep doing that. Let's stir this up and get YouTube like, psst, I don't know why anybody's voting for her. She what everybody likes and celebrates, but we're going to send it out. We're going to circulate it around and people are going to find themselves and be waking up to themselves Isn't that exciting? Watch that subscribership grow and know that you are actually having a what? Hand in it. Isn't that exciting? I love you, friend. Thanks for being here with me. Thanks for believing in me. And thanks for believing in yourself by showing up in this world today, in the now. I love you.